In EMS, we never know when our next call will be. When the tones will drop, or the siren goes off, or we hear our unit called on the radio. We go. We know that on the other side of that request is someone in the need of assistance. We often don't get to finish a meal, or even think twice. We just go. 6,461 days ago, we went. Countless emergency providers responded to the World Trade Center. As most New Yorkers were running away from the towers, emergency responders were running towards them. Running to help those in need, running to render care to injured, to provide help in whatever way they could, risking their lives to save the lives of others. Too many responders never made it home that day. Others left after working countless hours, wondering, did they do enough? Could they have done more? Others came home, hugging their loved ones, thinking the dangers of the incident were over. They were home, they were safe. Not knowing that the consequences would come many, many years later. This memorial this year, it's unlike any other. Every star of a fallen hero that we add this year is related to a 9/11 related illness. These are those who went to help others and would pay the ultimate sacrifice over 15 years later. No one can plan for that. No one can expect that. No one's thinking when we answer that call that the consequences for so many emergency responders would come so long after. There are 82 stars on our wall. 32 of them are related to 9/11. When we built the tree was built to handle the fallen heroes for countless years to come. Yet we find ourselves having to expand the tree too soon. Even so many years after one incident, it's too soon. Too soon for our heroes, too soon for our EMS community, too soon for the family members of our heroes. The family members who still had memories to make, still had family gatherings to attend to, still had so many more special moments to create together. I had the opportunity earlier this week to speak to each one of the families of Stars of Life, and I asked them, can you describe your loved one in 2 or 3 words? These are some of the words that I was given. Compassionate, family man, devoted, loving, selfless, dedicated, educator, strong, family, passion, one of a kind, larger than life, under the radar, role model, amazing, hero. As we think about the Stars of Life, there are words that kept coming up, even though I was talking to different families, but certain words kept coming up over and over again. And the definition of some of those words, as I started to look them up, really kind of just described even more the individuals in our stars. Just a few of them, but passion, a strong and barely controllable emotion. Dedicated, devoted to a task or a purpose, having a single-minded loyalty or integrity. Selfless, concerned more with the needs and wishes of others than one's own. Hero. A person who is admired or idolized for courage, outstanding achievements, or noble qualities. These are the words that describe our stars of life. And although our heroes are no longer with us, and they're not standing next to us, they're never forgotten. They are remembered every day. And their lives live on in the knowledge that they shared with us, in every patient that they cared for, in the EMS community, and in the family members that keep them in their thoughts and prayers every day. And to the family members of our heroes, you're not alone. The New York State EMS community of 60,000 providers, 1,800 agencies are here for you. We're here for the good times and the tough times, for the shoulder to cry on or a friend to laugh with. We are one family. I'd like to thank many of the organizations who are represented here today who've been big supporters of this memorial and really help it happen every year. The New York State EMS Council, the State Emergency Medical Advisory Committee, the United New York Ambulance Network, the New York State Volunteer Ambulance and Rescue Association, the New York City EMS Command, the Firemen's Association for the State of New York, the Uniformed EMTs and Paramedics Union of FDNY, the Uniformed EMS Officers of the FDNY. Special thanks also to our Office of General Services, who oversees and maintains our memorial and really helps put this all together to make this happen. And to everyone here, and to see uniforms and everyone who comes out of their busy schedule to show and pay respect to those who've given everything. Speaking on behalf of the Governor of New York State, Lieutenant Governor Kathy Hochul.
Good morning. And thank you, Ryan, for your exceptional leadership of the New York State Bureau of Emergency Medical Services and for what you do in your spare time also, which is to save people's lives. And so I thank you for your work, and to all the people who traveled here today. I want to recognize our elected officials here, my partners in government, our senators, assembly members, also our commissioners who are here present. Commissioner Roberta Reardon is here from the Department of Labor, Mike Green from DCJS, and Pat Murphy from DISHES. I want to thank them. But particularly, I want to recognize the people who traveled here. Those of you in uniform, I thank you for paying tribute to one of your fallen colleagues. And it's painful for you because I know there's something out there called survivor's guilt, because many of you all ran in together and served side by side, shoulder to shoulder, lifting rocks, refusing to leave any man or woman on the battlefield that was ours on that September day in 9/11. So to you, I thank you for coming, for your courage. To the chaplains who are here, who have to muster some sense of bravery and pull it together even when you're weeping inside. Incredible courage. But I'm here on this beautiful, windy morning for the families, because I can't imagine how hard it was to get out of bed today. Perhaps some of you are starting that little bit of healing, and to come here in this ceremony because you felt compelled to. We honor that. But I got to think it might be ripping the wounds open a little bit. So it takes tremendous courage for the families to be here today. But you said they were courageous, I will be courageous. I will get up. I will show up. I will come to pay tribute to my loved one. And I think about the fact that there are 60,000 people who are part of our New York State EMS family. Ladies and gentlemen, that's out of 20 million residents of our state. We are talking about an elite group of individuals who are so selfless that they have answered a call that every one of us can answer. Every one of us has the opportunity to be trained and to put on a uniform and to put yourself in harm's way to help your fellow human beings. But only 60,000 have done so. I'm in awe of that. And I'm also in awe of the fact that whenever there's a tragedy in our state, anytime, it's a train wreck, it's an accident, it's the flooding we have up on Lake Ontario as we speak, you show up. You don't say, I got to get to my son's baseball game or my daughter's recital. My wife made a really good dinner tonight. She was hoping I could share it with her. You never question your responsibility to others. And that is something that we cannot take for granted in this great state. Because without you, all we have is chaos. There is no order in our state without each and every one of you. And shame on us if we don't recognize that every single chance we can. And I say that as the mother who came home from a town board meeting once to know that my little girl had been hit by a car. Not serious injuries, but when I came to that scene and I saw her in the arms of people in uniforms like yours, I said, we're going to be okay. They're taking care of my little girl. So we're talking about 7 individuals here today who went in and seemed like they were one of the fortunate ones on that day, but they were stripped of their life far too early. But I have a feeling, not knowing these individuals, but knowing the kind of person who goes into this service, that knowing that outcome 15, 16, 17 years later, I guarantee they still would have run right in there. That's the kind of person you raised if you're a parent. That's the kind of person you married if you're a spouse. That's the kind of person you're fortunate to have as your parent, if it's one of your parents that we're honoring here today. They would have done it anyhow, I guarantee it. And to the names, we think about William Ryan, Joeddy Friszell, Felipe Torre, Joseph Rodriguez, Walter Nelson, Martha Stewart, and Dr. Michael Guttenberg. I guarantee there are countless individuals and families who are joined tonight when they have their dinner because one of these individuals in their lifetime of service helped save another. So while your dinner table has an empty seat, there's other families around the state because of our EMS community where that seat is filled. Don't ever forget that. Don't ever forget that. You've done what you've been asked to do. You've supported them. You're there for them. And today you come, and sadly, to mourn them. And I can't fill that empty seat at the table. And I can't fill the empty seat in the truck as your colleagues go on without you. But this tree, you see the branches going up. But what you don't see are the roots. The roots are what your loved one left all of us and left you. The roots represent the memories, the love, the foundation from all which else can grow. The roots are critically important. So when you come here, perhaps on a less windy day, come in the winter, come in the rain, come here and stand again. Know that you came here today because you had courage, and know that you leave here hearing the words that there are 20 million fellow New Yorkers who are grateful for the sacrifice that your loved one made for all of us. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Lieutenant Governor. Speaking on behalf of the New York State Assembly, Assemblyman Brian Kolb.
Good morning, everyone. Every year back home in my district, Geneva, New York, holds a ceremony memorializing 9/11. And they acknowledge all of the first responders that served all of us on 9/11. And every year, I think back, one gentleman I knew was not family. He was a business associate from Rochester before I got in the legislature. They never found his remains. And when you see a day like today, and we're here to remember, because we should never forget the sacrifices that were made that very day, and the days and months and the years after. And I can't even imagine, because I did not lose a family member, I can't imagine what each and every family and close friend of anyone that lost their life that day or since that day, on behalf of all of us in our great state. So for me, ladies and gentlemen, it's a true honor to be here today. The first thing I would like to say on behalf of all the members of our Assembly Conference is thank you. Thanks to each and every one of you that have served as an EMS, and all the people that couldn't be here today because they're out protecting our communities and responding to things happening in our community. So first and foremost, I just want to say thank you. Thank you for your service, and thank you for the sacrifices that you make to be there for us. This morning, we celebrate the legacy and service of 7 EMS professionals who made the ultimate sacrifice. Men and women who laid down their lives trying to save one of ours. As their names are added to the memorial, we recognize that there is no more heroic act, and that their service will never be forgotten. Being a part of this community is a calling. The incredible individuals of New York's EMS community go to work every single day and do their job without hesitation, without selfishness, and without glory. To be an EMS professional is to dedicate oneself to a career of service and sacrifice. For the families of those we honor today, our hearts are with you. Our thanks and gratitude are with you. This has got to be an extremely difficult time, but you also should be very proud of your family members that gave that ultimate sacrifice. There's no more that any one of us could give than to serve others and give your life to serve others, whether it's in our state or our nation. So to each and every one of you that are here today to support the memories of those 7 outstanding individuals, again, I want to say thank you. And on behalf of all of New York State, we are forever in your debt. Thank you.
Speaking on behalf of the U.S. Senate is Caitlin Rooney, Capital Regional Director of the Office of U.S. Senator Kirsten Gillibrand.
Good morning. My name is Caitlin Rooney, and I am the Capital Region Director for Senator Gillibrand, who, while she unfortunately was not able to join us today, I'm honored to be here on her behalf and to read this message from her. Dear friends, it is a privilege to send greetings to everyone gathered here today at the New York State EMS Memorial Ceremony. I join you in remembering and honoring the brave emergency medical service men and women who dedicated their lives to the safety and protection of our community. I am grateful to the New York State EMS Memorial Ceremony for honoring those who have made lifelong commitments to their community, state, and their country. There is no greater sacrifice than that made by Joeddy Friszell, Walter Nelson, Joseph Rodriguez, Martha Stewart, and Felipe Torre of the FDNY EMS, Dr. Michael Guttenberg from Northwell Health Center for EMS, and William Ryan from Bay Community VAC. I join with the rest of our nation in recognizing their service and commitment. Their sacrifice exemplifies the positive contributions an individual can make within their profession, community, and their country. Please accept my gratitude for their service and my prayers for those who they left behind. Sincerely, Kirsten Gillibrand. Thank you.
The New York State Department of Health is responsible for general oversight of the EMS system statewide. I have the honor of introducing Executive Deputy Commissioner of Health, Sally Dreslin.
Good morning, and thank you all for being here today. It is an honor to join emergency medical services professionals from across New York State to pay tribute to those we have lost from this indispensable core of providers. The EMTs, paramedics, physicians, and the EMS officers who make up this life-saving system of response are each exceptional New Yorkers. Those of us who are not first responders come in contact with New York's EMS providers during some of the most stressful, confusing, dangerous, and painful moments of our lives. EMS professionals care in both sense of the word. They physically provide pre-hospital emergency patient care and transport, but they also care through their personal, emotional investment in the safety and well-being of our fellow New Yorkers. EMS providers constitute a fundamental component of safety and security within our society. We hold this remembrance ceremony every year close to Memorial Day, when we as a nation pause to honor those who died in service to every American. Today, we are honoring 7 brave individuals who died in service to every New Yorker. Although the circumstances that brought these men and this woman into harm's way were unique, their collective sacrifice speaks singly for EMS integrity. We mourn the loss of Joeddy Friszell, Walter Nelson, Joseph Rodriguez, Martha Stewart, Felipe Torre, Michael Guttenberg, and William Ryan. 18 years ago, America experienced one of its darkest moments in the attacks of September 11th. And these individuals were there for us, for New York, and for our country. Their deaths are a reminder that with heroic acts, sacrifice comes at different times and in different ways. On behalf of the New York State Department of Health, we offer our heartfelt condolences to the family and friends of these brave and selfless individuals. We truly mourn at your side today. But we also believe that the best way to carry forward the legacy of these lives is through training and empowering a new generation of EMS professionals who strive to maintain the same ideals and standards. We need people to follow in the footsteps of courage. On behalf of the Department of Health, and as a former emergency department nurse, flight nurse, and EMT, I want to thank our EMS professionals for protecting the health and safety of all New Yorkers. Our communities rely on you, and we will never take your service and sacrifice for granted. Thank you today and every day.
Thank you, Ms. Dreslin. Representing our EMS community, please welcome the Chair of the New York State Emergency Medical Services Council, Patty Bashaw.
Good morning, everybody. On behalf of the New York State EMS Council, I am proud to represent all EMS providers across the great state of New York as we gather here to honor those who put others first and themselves second. On September 11th, 2001, a horrific assault was inflicted upon our nation and our state. As many of us watched that day's events unfold on TV, the first thing I gasped as the first tower went down was, oh my God. Sorry, I wasn't going to do that. Oh my God, those first responders. Our honorees did not hesitate for one instant to respond. They knew that their duty was to save as many as possible, and then afterwards, when there was no more to save, their attentions turned to taking care of those who needed to be brought home and care for those who are working the pile. Many of them themselves worked day after day in the recovery mode. This is a solemn event, but also a day to celebrate the lives of William, Michael, Joseph, Martha, Felipe, Walter, and Joeddy. Just think for one moment, they touched hundreds of lives during their EMS career. What an impact, and what a legacy they left with us. They are here with us now, watching and smiling. They are no longer suffering from a horrible disease. These heroes will forever be in our hearts, and we are eternally grateful for their service and sacrifice. May God bless them and keep them close. May God hold dear those that remain on this earth. And to their families, thank you for sharing your loved ones with us. Sorry. May their wonderful memories that you have ease the sorrow that you feel. Thank you.
Thank you, Patty, and thank you for your leadership of the State EMS Council and helping guide where EMS is going in the future in New York State. Speaking on behalf of the New York State Senate, Senator John Flanagan.
Good morning, everyone, and I want to extend my deep apology. I arrived late, not out of disrespect. I just came from a veterans ceremony where veterans are being honored from all communities across the state. Kind of fitting to leave something like that and be able to attend this ceremony as well. And I know I went out of order a little bit, but I hope this comes across the right way. I'm delighted to be here. I'm very grateful to have the opportunity to speak on behalf of the men and women of our conference. I don't want to pretend to speak on behalf of the New York State Senate, but I think I could probably take the liberty of so doing. And you obviously heard from the Lieutenant Governor and Leader Kolb and our last speaker. That is so genuine and sincere and heartfelt. It's humbling. So as public servants, I think part of our obligation is to laud the efforts of people who go oftentimes unheralded until something may happen to them. And I feel an obligation as a public official to make sure that we stand up, that we support you in every way conceivable and possible, and that we say thank you. Say thank you when things are happening. Say thank you both before, during, and afterwards. So I come before you today to mourn, to pay respects, to acknowledge the fact that we have this beautiful memorial. And I do a fair amount of walking around here and being able to see this. You know, maybe one year we look forward to a year where nobody's name has to be added. And yet at the same time, it's fitting and it's proper and it's with respect that we actually do this. And with all the things that we have to do in government, these are the things that are most important to me, because we come to pay homage and respect to people who richly deserve it. All of you have the right to expect that your government will be faithful to you and to make sure that you and your families are taken care of. And there are plenty of ways that we could do that. I think sometimes we do it well. But you being here, all the time that you dedicate, and when I say you, clearly I'm talking about the individuals and everyone who supports them. Because there's no way this stuff happens without support from loved ones, from friends, families, relatives, neighbors, and hopefully people in government as well. It's really wonderful to see all the folks that are here today. And I'll just close by, again, saying thank you to all of you for being here. Thank you for your family service. And I am very grateful to have the opportunity to be with you for a few minutes. Thank you.
Ladies and gentlemen, following are names of our heroic New Yorkers who selflessly gave their lives helping others. This year, 7 names will be added to the memorial. Reading the first set of names for Stars of Life, Deputy Director, New York State Bureau of EMS and Trauma Centers Systems, Steve DeZura.
Joeddy Friszell, FDNY EMS, last call, March 5th, 2018. Walter Nelson, FDNY EMS, last call, May 2nd, 2014. Joseph Rodriguez, FDNY EMS, last call, November 23rd, 2018. Martha Stewart, FDNY EMS, last call, November 18th, 2018.
Felipe Torre, FDNY EMS, last call, October 10th, 2018. William Bill Bryan, Bay Community Volunteer Ambulance, last call, August 19th, 2018. Dr. Michael Guttenberg, Northwell Health Center for Emergency Medical Services, last call, October 17th, 2017. Going to ask the Executive Deputy Commissioner Sally Dreslin and Ms. Brashaw to lay the wreath of remembrance, thereby dedicating this day and the ceremony in honor of all EMS personnel who lost their lives in the line of duty. Chaplain Stewart will now give the benediction.
I stand here before you truly humbled to be taking part in such an amazing day. There are no words for me to express my condolences to all of you, but I am very proud to say that I have members of my family that are part of the FDNY, and I stand shoulder to shoulder with them as I do every member of EMS. So today I ask anyone that is here in uniform, stand side by side. Take this legacy of these 7 people and continue to do the work that we do every day. May the tone go off. May we run out and save lives. I ask that we go now in peace and brotherhood and the grace and dignity that it takes to be a member of emergency medical services and all members of the first responder community. In your name we pray. Amen.
Please remain in your seats till the color guard retires the colors. Please take a moment to look around you. Look around at your fellow sisters and brothers. We are one family, one support network. Remind the person next to you that they're not alone. We stand stronger together. And although today's ceremony is coming to a close, our family continues to grow. In our family, we never forget. Never forget those who paid the ultimate sacrifice. We now invite the families of our fallen heroes to come up and view the memorial. We ask that the other guests, many of you, and the many agencies who are represented here today, to allow the families to have a little bit of private time at the memorial, and then to come up after. Thank you for being here today. Thank you for everything that you do, every day. To the family members that are here, this can't be easy. And it's really important for us in our community to make sure that those who gave everything are recognized for a very, very long time. This year, we now have 82 members, 82 stars of life on our wall. And I hope there's a year that we don't ever have to have one added to it. Thank you for being here. Thank you for everything you do. God bless.